She grabs wrong suitcase at airport nowhere. The billionaire owner who can't forget her perfume. The carousel clattered with luggage, every bag looking identical under the fluorescent glow of the airport lights. Emma, exhausted from a red-eye flight and juggling coffee in one hand, reached for the sleek black suitcase that rolled past. Without a second thought, she tugged it off the belt and wheeled it behind her. It wasn't until the next morning, in her small apartment, that she realized something was very wrong. Instead of her modest clothes and books, the suitcase contained tailored suits, a platinum watch, and files stamped with confidential. At the very bottom lay a bottle of men's cologne, expensive, rare, and the same scent she had brushed past in the terminal when a tall stranger held the door open for her. That man was Adrian Steele, billionaire investor, known for his cold composure and ruthless decisions. Yet when he discovered his luggage was missing, something unusual struck him. He remembered the faint trace of jasmine and vanilla perfume as a young woman brushed past him at baggage claim. A perfume that lingered in his mind far longer than it should have. For Emma, panic set in. She needed to return the suitcase, but a note tucked between the suits caught her eye. Meeting with international delegation. She slammed it shut, guilt bubbling. This wasn't just any businessman's luggage. Whoever owned it was powerful. Dangerous, maybe. Adrian's team traced her down within hours. But instead of pressing charges, Adrian insisted on meeting her personally. When Emma walked into his glass-walled office, clutching the suitcase with trembling hands, he didn't notice the luggage first. He noticed her. The same perfume, the same quiet determination in her eyes. "You picked up the wrong suitcase," Adrian said smoothly, though his voice carried a warmth he rarely used. "I'm so sorry. Didn't mean," she began, but he stopped her. "No, don't apologize. Maybe it wasn't an accident." Emma blinked. "What do you mean?" He leaned closer, lowering his voice. "That perfume, I haven't been able to forget it since the airport." Her heart stuttered. This was absurd. A billionaire talking like that to her, and yet the intensity in his gaze told her it was no game. The suitcase had been a mistake, but for Adrian Steele, it became the excuse he needed. And for Emma, it was the beginning of something she never expected. A collision of two worlds, hers, simple and struggling, his dazzling and perilous, held together by nothing more than the memory of a scent. Emma expected to be scolded, maybe fined, and definitely escorted out of the towering skyscraper where Adrian Steele's empire lived. Instead, she found herself sitting across from him at a mahogany desk that stretched longer than her entire apartment. He didn't open the suitcase right away. Instead, his piercing gray eyes studied her as if she were the puzzle he needed to solve. "You work in publishing?" he asked, glancing at the work ID she'd used to enter the building. Emma hesitated. "Assistant, entry level." She shifted in her chair. "Look, I just want to return this and go. I'm sorry for the trouble." But Adrian only leaned back, lips curving slightly. "Do you know how many people would kill for an excuse to walk into this office?" She blinked. "I'm not one of them." And that, oddly, was what intrigued him most. He dismissed his staff and poured her coffee himself. That never happened. Adrian Steele didn't serve people. But Emma's perfume, soft jasmine with hints of vanilla, wrapped around him again, tugging at a memory he couldn't place. A night years ago, a gala he'd been forced to attend, a fleeting dance with a stranger who never told him her name. The same perfume, the same quiet fire in her eyes. The next morning, Emma tried to move on, but Adrian didn't let her. A sleek black car appeared outside her building with a handwritten note inside. "Dinner. No arguments. -A.S." She almost tore it up. She wasn't the type to fall for power games. But something about the way his gaze had softened when he mentioned her perfume lingered with her. Against her better judgment, she went. Dinner was unlike anything she expected. Not a stuffy, pretentious affair, but a rooftop, a private chef, and Adrian asking questions no one else ever cared to ask. Why publishing? Because books don't lie, she answered before she could stop herself. He smiled. Neither do sense. But just as Emma began to see the man beneath the billionaire mask, reality intruded. A week later, someone broke into her apartment. Nothing was stolen, except for a single file she remembered from his suitcase. One marked confidential. When Adrian found out, his calm demeanor cracked. "They're watching me," he admitted, jaw tight. "And now, they are watching you." Emma froze. "Because I picked up your suitcase?" "Because fate doesn't play fair," he said quietly, taking her hand. "And I won't let them touch you." Their connection was no longer just about a perfume or a wrong suitcase. It was about survival, trust, and two lives colliding in a way neither could walk away from. But Emma didn't know the full truth, yet why Adrian had been carrying those files, or why powerful men wanted them back. And Adrian didn't know that Emma had secrets of her own, ones that could either destroy him or save him. Emma hadn't planned to see Adrian again after that rooftop dinner. She told herself he lived in a different universe, one of glass, towers and private jets, while she could barely pay rent on time. But then came the break-in, and the way Adrian showed up at her door minutes later, his security team sweeping her apartment like it was a war zone, it shook her. "You're not safe here anymore," Adrian said firmly, standing in her tiny living room like a king trapped in a dollhouse. Emma bristled. "I can take care of myself." "No," he said, voice softer now, almost pleading. "Let me take care of you, just until this is over." Against her pride, she agreed. And that's how Emma found herself living in Adrian Steele's penthouse, marble floors, a view of the city that looked like stars had fallen to earth, and security guards stationed in hallways. She felt like she'd stepped into someone else's life. But the danger wasn't just external. The longer she stayed, the more she felt the pull between them. Adrian wasn't the cold, untouchable billionaire the tabloids painted him to be. In late hours, she'd find him at the piano in his library, playing melodies he claimed no one else ever heard. He listened when she spoke about books, about dreams she was too afraid to chase. And one night, after too much wine, he finally admitted, "I wasn't supposed to notice you at the airport. My life is arranged, controlled." "But then there was your perfume." Emma laughed nervously. "That's ridiculous. Falling for someone because of perfume." He leaned closer, gaze locked on hers. "No, falling because I can't forget the woman wearing it." But shadows trailed them. Emma noticed a car following her when she slipped out one afternoon for groceries. Adrian's assistant whispered about board members being nervous, about documents that could ruin men in power. The truth crashed down when Emma accidentally overheard a phone call in his office. Adrian wasn't just guarding business files. He had evidence of corruption tied to government contracts, bribes, even international deals. And by taking the wrong suitcase, Emma had been pulled into the center of it. That night, Adrian found her pacing the penthouse. "You should have told me," she said, voice shaking. He closed the distance, guilt in his eyes. "I didn't want. You too carry this weight. You didn't give me a choice." For the first time, anger cracked their fragile bond. Yet, even through it, the chemistry burned, and then came the message slipped under her door. "Return what isn't yours, or watch her disappear." Adrian's world and Emma's had collided by accident, but now, their survival and their love depended on whether they could outsmart enemies who had everything to lose. Because the suitcase wasn't just wrong luggage. It was a key to secrets people would kill for. And Adrian knew one thing for certain. He could give up the fortune, the empire, even his name, but he could never give up Emma.